And for us to be able to support government funding in that way, only for them to turn it around to dismantle the government, that is not something that should be allowed.
So just to be clear, Senator, you are open to voting yes to shut down the government, to make this point.
This is on them.
A few moments later.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
Are you guys ready to laugh at even more Democrat incompetence and tomfoolery today? Make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are, because that's the best way to support our work and ensure that we can keep laughing at Democrat incompetence. But nonetheless, see, here's the issue that the Democrat Party currently has is, as much as they want to fearmonger about Trump, as much as they want to say he's the worst thing to ever exist, he's overthrowing the Constitution, he's overthrowing democracy, as Hakeem Jeffries kind of admitted there in that opening clip, there's nothing they can actually do about it. And that's what's really hilarious. He literally is going out and saying, you know, Democrats have no leverage. Sorry to all of our voters, but there's literally nothing we can do for you guys, which is obviously a fantastic and very strong, definitely, political message to send to the American people. But again, if you're a Democrat, you're basically right now desperately searching for solutions. Like, we have to try to do something to stop Trump, specifically stop the Department of Government Efficiency, and nothing is working and we have no options. Of course, the only option they've been trying to exercise so far is, and again, in fairness to them, this is basically the only thing they can do because they don't hold any power in government, but nonetheless, they have been trying to take to the streets to protest. And we've been covering these protests regularly. You know, a lot of ridiculous performative nonsense has happened at them. You have Maxine Waters at 86 years old screaming like a lunatic. You have Chuck Schumer pulling off total cringe. But take a look at this. Even you can see the protests clearly are not working, because despite all the talk about how they would get bigger and they would grow over time, no, it actually appears the protests in the streets have gotten smaller. Because take a look at what's currently going on today in DC and ask yourself if this resistance looks supercharged and energized by any means. This is the protest again today in DC. Yeah, there's literally like 20 people there. Okay, so you can even see the energy to do more useless marches against DOGE has completely collapsed. And hilariously, a lot of the protesting going on is not even about DOGE anymore. It's just blanket Trump derangement syndrome. And here's just an example of that from Maxine Waters.
Elon is over in South Africa, threatening Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, and telling him, we are coming in here. I'm going to create a whole battery factory. But you guys work to get something, I believe, in your constitution that says that the black South Africans and people who we fought for to get rid of apartheid now can have 30% in all of the foreign businesses that come in. Elon Musk said, I'm going to build a battery factory. I want you to get rid of that 30%.
You know, I think that's just a great summary of how out of control and disorganized these protests are. Is at this point, what are they even protesting? Like, if you were just an ordinary voter watching this, you'd be so confused because, oh, I thought they're protesting against DOGE. I thought they're protesting to keep the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And here you have Maxine Waters yammering on very like senilely about South Africa. Again, this is just so disorganized, and the media, guys, is not doing much better. They also are rapidly running out of options, running out of talking points to oppose Trump with. So I kid you not, what are they doing now? They are melting down over hairy balls. Nope, that is right. That is actually what they are doing. Okay, so, you know, this is not me, like, being satirical or something. This is the new way the media wants to attack Trump is, again, fearmonger. I kid you not. We're not making this up about hairy balls. Take a listen.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
Now, the disruptor-in-chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Hairy Balls, tweeted this morning, democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge.
We literally broke these people. Okay, we broke these people. It's truly astonishing and wild to watch because, when I was younger, Democrats were like the evil empire. They were bad, they were whatever, but during the first Trump term and even during the early days of Biden's presidency, they were pretty competent, right? It was kind of like the rebels against the empire or whatever. But now this party has become so disorganized and just almost a parody of itself. Like, they're just completely lost, okay? It is hilarious. And it's quite frankly really astonishing to watch. I have never seen the Democrat resistance to Trump or the Democrat Party in general just be this completely disorganized, chaotic, and just a complete mess. But anyways, again, what's the central theme here? They're looking for new ways to oppose Trump or stop the agenda, and it's not necessarily working as DOGE and the Trump administration move full steam ahead. But finally, guys, they have come up with their next grand strategy to stop Trump. It's funny. It's like watching The Mad Scientist, right? This is like Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb or something right here. That's what's happening, right? This is the next plan to destroy Trump, and it just never works, right? It's like, the coyote trying to kill the roadrunner here. Like, literally, that's what's happening. But anyways, nonetheless, their big plan now to stop Trump from shutting down the federal bureaucracy and cleaning out the government is they are threatening to enact a government shutdown. That is right. Basically, refuse to vote for the budget and make the government shut down. Now, there's a couple of questions there. First of all, how exactly are they going to pull the votes for a government shutdown, considering they don't own any chamber of government? Maybe they used a filibuster or something. But nonetheless, don't you see a little bit of an irony in, first of all, that's their grand plan, really? They're going to threaten a government shutdown like, oh, we've never seen that one before. Oh, we're so scared. Government shutdown, number one. But number two, isn't there a great irony to you're mad that Trump is shutting down aspects of the government, so you're responding by threatening a government shutdown? I don't know. But nonetheless, here was Senator Andy Kim of the Democrat Party, and I believe out of the state of New Jersey, who was explaining over the weekend on how Democrats are prepared to entertain a government shutdown to stop the evil, dictatorial tyranny of Trump. Take a listen.
Because your colleague Jeff Merkley basically said he's prepared to try to shut down the government over some of these sledgehammer actions that he's seeing by Elon Musk. Are you prepared to shut down the government, to join Democratic colleagues who want to stand in the way of keeping the government open?
Well, you have to look at what the Trump administration is doing right now. They are simply trying to, they are simply trying to dismantle the government. So yes, look, if we have to take steps to be able to hold them accountable, use the leverage that we have to force it, I cannot support efforts that will continue this lawlessness that we're seeing when it comes to this administration's actions. And for us to be able to support government funding in that way, only for them to turn it around to dismantle the government, that is not something that should be allowed.
So just to be clear, Senator, you are open to voting yes to shut down the government, to make this point.
This is on them. This is about whether or not they can get the votes. They are the majority, and if they cannot govern, then that's for the American people to see. But I've worked in government. I've worked through multiple government shutdowns. I would be the last person to want to get to that stage. But we are at a point where we are basically on the cusp of a constitutional crisis, seeing this administration taking steps that are so clearly illegal. And until we see a change in that behavior, we should not allow and condone that, nor should we assist in that.
So let me get this straight. Okay? Their big, amazing plan, guys, to get Trump to stop, in his words, dismantling the government. In other words, shutting down big facets of our government bureaucracy. Their big grand plan of resistance is to shut down the government, which of course also means, all these federal workers that they're constantly panicking about and claiming, oh no, poor them, right? So the federal workers, as everyone knows, during a government shutdown, do not get paid. They do not come into work. And in other words, all non-essential parts of our government bureaucracy, guess what? They get shut down. That's why it's called a government shutdown. So does anyone see the logic there? Okay. Again, their plan to stop Trump from shutting down the government bureaucracy is to themselves shut down the government bureaucracy. Okay. Genius. Okay, genius move from the Dr. Doofenshmirtz Democrats there. Like, wow, we're really terrified. Oh no, government shutdown. Wouldn't that literally just help DOGE achieve its efforts Okay, isn't that what we want? Don't we want many aspects of the government to shut down? It's just like that's really their big master plan. Are you serious? Are you actually kidding me right now? Unbelievable. Again, I remember when this party used to have, again, I never said they were good, but they used to be competent. You know, they used to have strategy. This is just a complete joke. And by the way, Andy Kim is far from the only Democrat who has endorsed this idea. A lot of them have. Cory Booker was one and AOC was another. Take a listen.
It should be very clear with the American people that the House is governed by a Republican majority, the Senate is governed by a Republican majority, and the White House has a Republican president. And if they want to pass their agenda, Republicans need to conjure up the votes for them to pass their own bills.
Well, you know, AOC, there's actually a very simple solution to that, considering we do have the majority, which is we can literally just abolish the filibuster. Okay, and I know that's a very controversial take. A lot of conservatives are like, no, we need to keep the filibuster. Honestly, I would support right now abolishing it because it's very obvious. You know, Joe Biden kept it in place because he's like an old school politician. He comes from that generation. Guys, the next time the Democrats take power, especially if it's a younger candidate, they're gonna abolish a filibuster anyway. So just do it, just do it now. Like in some ways, the original intent of the filibuster is not even fulfilled these days. It's just a barrier to like getting anything done in government. But nonetheless, okay, that's one option the Republicans have. The other option the Republicans have is to just, I don't know, laugh at these people. They're just complete clowns. I'm not exactly sure. But guys, in the case of Andy Kim, the first politician that you saw there in that video, of course, he's the one most infamous for basically softcore endorsing the idea of a government shutdown. It's very interesting because his mass panic, as did many other Democrats, all started when Trump shut down USAID, essentially the money laundering agency that was nation building around the world and funneling money to very corrupt NGOs. And there's a very interesting factoid about Andy Kim and his relationship with USAID in a second that I think also demonstrates why these Democrats are freaking out so much about DOGE. But first, take a listen to what he had to say the moment that USAID was shut down about 8 days ago.
USAID was the first, but I can guarantee you it's not the last. And so this same playbook that they're using in terms of how they're trying to shut this down, how they're trying to prevent public servants from working and doing the work of our country, if we allow this to happen, it's going to just start to happen at other departments and agencies. So this is likely just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so you got that right. USAID, oh my gosh, so bad. We need it to fund DEI in Serbia. What would the Serbians do without Americans pushing woke propaganda into their culture? Well, this might make a lot of sense, right? Again, this is the guy freaking out about USAID. He's saying Trump is causing a constitutional crisis. He is threatening to shut down the government. Apparently, guys, as it turns out, Andy Kim, check this out, is a former employee. He used to work at USAID. Oh, now it all makes sense. Right? Now it all makes sense. For a very long time, I was saying that, USAID, it's so random. Why are the Democrats so obsessed with protecting this? Why is it such a big deal to people? Because you're not really talking about something that Americans even know what that is. Well, clearly, because there's a little bit of a special relationship there, we might say, right? There's a lot of corruption going on back and forth. So that just gives you an idea of the backbone, sort of the underlying premise of the Democrat resistance. That's why they're so scared of DOGE. That's why they're so scared of Elon Musk and Trump potentially finding out what's going on really at these agencies. But nonetheless, okay, let's get back on topic here a little bit, because again, this is what the Democrats were threatening. That was their grand master plan, shut down the government. Now, I'm not sure if Chuck Schumer just realized how stupid the idea is, okay, because it is a really stupid idea. Again, you're going to shut down the government to protest us shutting down parts of the government. It doesn't make any sense. Well, apparently, according to Politico, Schumer has signaled that Democrats will not pick a shutdown fight. So in other words, the Democrat strategy in the Senate indeed will not be to pursue a government shutdown. Now, if you ask me, I think that's very smart of Chuck Schumer, because I once again say it doesn't make any sense to try to shut down the government to protest Doge, considering that's kind of what Doge wants. Okay, I'm just saying. But the Democrat base, guys, clearly seems to disagree with me, because if you scroll down here to the comments on the Politico article, all these people are like really pissed off, actually. A lot of Democrats are mad that Chuck Schumer will not be shutting down the government. For instance, right here, at Senator Schumer, please move aside and let someone else with a backbone lead Democrats in the Senate. So even the Democrat base, who usually worships its own politicians, for once is now going out and saying that no, we want to shut down the government, which again, I don't understand the strategy behind that. I don't exactly think that is very smart. But anyways, here's the article from Politico. Apparently, Senate Democrats are detailing how they plan to fight back against, I didn't show it on the screen, how they plan to fight back against Donald Trump's administration, and warning Republicans against a go-at-it-alone approach on government funding. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer sent a Dear Colleague letter to his caucus that detailed 4 strategies to counter Trump: investigations, litigations through the court, legislation, and party messaging. Unlike other Democrats who recently warned that the GOP cannot count on their votes to avert a shutdown, Chuck Schumer is not going there yet. So apparently, again, the Chuck Schumer method here is going to be to write a bunch of strongly worded letters and do a couple more ridiculous protests against Trump in the street. I'm not exactly sure, okay? You know, their resistance is not super strong at the current moment, but again, just kind of hilarious there. Even they are starting to realize, oh, maybe the shutdown doesn't really make sense. I don't know, just saying. Now, moving on here from that, again, okay, so the protests are not working. The media segments about hairy balls are not working. And now they're not going to be trying to do a government shutdown because they realize they'd look like complete idiots if they did that. So what is the new Democrat strategy? Well, according to Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, apparently the new strategy is to get Senate Republicans to stand up to the White House. In other words, oh my gosh, RINO Republicans, please go fight Trump for us. Which, don't get me wrong, that might not be such a bad strategy. There are a lot of weak, pathetic RINO Republicans in the Senate that everyone knows about. But nonetheless, I do find it to be comical. Imagine being a party so weak that in order to try to do anything, you have to beg members of the opposing party to go and fight Trump on your behalf. Not even making this up. This is their new, again, Dr. Doofenshmirtz grand strategy.
If the courts make a ruling and the administration decides to run over the courts, what then? What can Congress do? You say it's our job in Congress to stand up to it.
There's 2 major functions here. One is the oversight of what they're doing, right? And one of the things that we haven't even talked about is that our Republican colleagues have been acquiescing in all of this. I know this. I've seen a few of them stand up from time to time. Maybe they'll stand up to cancer trials being cut. Watch for it. Maybe they'll stand up to Kash Patel, which they sure better do, as this man who has shown no regard for the truth is about to become head of the FBI unless they stand up for it. But they have to stand up to make this really work. Then you have oversight, and you can also pass legislation to make very clear what the limits are on this power.
So there you go, guys. That is the grand Democrat strategy. There's nothing we can do, so we're just going to beg the Republicans to do something for us, and hopefully they realize that Orange Man is so bad, and this will stop the fascist takeover of America. You know, it's just so funny. Of course, what did we hear all about in the 2024 election? Trump is a fascist. Trump is a dictator. He wants to suspend and overthrow the Constitution, etc. This is going to be the end of America if he's elected. And the Democrats' big master plan to oppose him once he got into office after having like 3 months between the election and the inauguration to plan was, again, what were they going to do? Absolutely nothing. That's what's they're so incompetent. They had no plan. No plan to oppose, right? When Trump started doing all his executive orders, which he said he was going to do, you know, the Democrats were like, whoa. And what I think you're even seeing right now, and is very brilliant on Trump's part, is this administration is moving so fast on every single policy and an initiative and issue that the Democrats cannot keep up, right? You know, they're doing these protests out in the streets, and like that was like 7 days ago that Trump already moved on from this and got this done, and he's going to the next thing. And the Democrats are like just trying to chase Trump around on every single issue, and it's ultimately not working. But again, they didn't have a plan for any of this. That's what's just so hilarious. These people have become so incompetent. I remember when Democrat resistance was organized. I remember when it was the Republicans who were the incompetent party, which, don't get me wrong, they still are, okay? I'm not saying that the Republicans are doing an amazing job by any means. But when you compare to the Democrats now, it's just astonishing how the party of Barack Obama, who, say what you will, very bad president, but very good campaigner, very effective politician when it came to, you know, messaging to the people, building a coalition, all that. The Democrats now are just, woo, like they're just in total disarray. It is shocking to watch. And again, that's their grand strategy. Please, Republicans, do something. Sorry, there's nothing we can do, people, but, you know, maybe vote for us next time. Unbelievable. That's laughable. That's so pathetic. All right, with that said, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.